Stillness, presence, embodiment, wisdom. Welcome to my channel.
I think something that not many people also in coaching can do is to bring both and connect those both. So people either rely on the cognitive, on the knowledge of the narration, what we tell ourselves about the world, what books are telling us, right? This is written here, look, and it's written, it says that, I do that, nothing happens, right? I know everything, no change, right? So one is that. Second part is I understand my body. I have this experiences. Maybe there are many people also like going to workshops and retreats, and they have these beautiful weekends and they are centered and, present and so on. And they go back to their lives, nothing changes, right? Because they don't know how to implement that. Those people have the knowledge, don't know how to implement that, right? So first step is like to create the awareness, knowing it, understanding it, but understanding it from really embodied place, because that's what really triggers our behavior. The body communicates constantly with our brain. So there is constant exchange. And if we just look at this, we just look at our assumptions, narratives, stories that we created, and it's not really rooted in what's really happening. So fight, flight, freeze, or please responses and regulated state is really showing us what's really happening, right? So to bring this into change, into action, is to really knowing that when you are under stress and you're leaning forward and you really want to, get your point across, it's maybe time to lean backwards and just open your arms and be curious and soften in your voice and start listening, start paying attention to your breath just for a few seconds. And with that, you start regulating yourself. And now you're more present. And now you can actually have a conversation with the other person. And now when you are, let's have this example. You are a leader on a high level where your constant way of being is not knowing. Because the higher you go in the organization, the less it's based on what you know as an expert. So you have to make decisions in the areas that were not your expertise when you were starting at work. And it's stressful because you need to make them fast. You need to take those decisions when you don't know all the details, when you are not an expert, where there is a pressure, financial and time pressure, and also a pressure from yourself that you cannot make a mistake, and how to take this decision, right? So what it's really helpful in those moments is to knowing how to bounce back, how to be back. And once you start practicing being in the more regulated space, and this can be, like I said, for people who are in a fight mode, that always defending, that always want to bring the point across, that always want to challenge others, very often is softening in your body, right? And it's something that probably you have to do one-to-one session to understand what would be your regulated state. But very often here I would say soften, lean back, open your arms, put your bring your breath to your belly and just stay there, right? Stay there, be centered for a moment and just listen. So noticing all the embodied reactions the more you understand, like for example, if you start asking a question and there is construction in your body, you are acting from your automatic response. You're acting from a flight place, right? So the moment you start noticing those things, and you at the same time you started practicing being soft, you can bring the softness. You can bring the softness, and that opens the possibility of being creative. Like the vision is different. Maybe there is a different way of acting in this meeting, of taking decisions. Maybe something else is needed. Maybe we need to go beyond what those people in front of me are telling me. But now you know, because you also start paying attention to what their body are doing, to the dissonance between what they are saying and what's happening. You also will start noticing if there is a discrepancy in terms of, it doesn't feel right. There will be your intuition will kick in. And the intuition is something that is very uncomfortable. This feeling that is here, you cannot name it and you don't know why, but you kind of feel it, something is off. So you can simply ask questions around what's going on here, right? You don't have to even say it. But this is, for example, one example that you really will start noticing and acting differently. Also, because you are more in your body, more present, and you are able to put the attention on the other person, less likely they will be able to be dishonest with you, because they will feel that they're being seen. And you will notice all those discrepancies. You will notice if the data they're showing you, they really stand for it, or they just like, it's really shaking. So you will start noticing those things. That's one example. Another example. Let's take another example of very different maybe. Let's take an example of people who are going to the stage. Actors, public speakers, maybe even you as an entrepreneur, you building your company and you have to pitch for money, right? Again, there is a way, it's a stressful situation. And you in this moment to get what you want, to be listened to be taken serious, and you need to be authentic. In this moment, nothing is more powerful than your full presence, your full authenticity. Like people feel when you are speaking and it comes from your heart, it comes from your mind, everything is like aligned. People feel it. And it's stressful, right? You need to stand up and you need to bring it again. So if you start working with your body and understanding what's happening on my embodied level when I am on the stage, what emotions are arising, and what's the intellectual story here, you can bring them all together and you can twist it. You will understand, oh, I'm getting myself smaller again. I'm not showing all my colors because I'm afraid I will not understood. I'm afraid I am too much. I'm afraid I'm too maybe too creative or too much ahead of time. People won't understand me. So when you start doing it, like your body will make itself small and you won't get this message across. People will feel it. It's not intellectual. You can bring the data, the presence won't be there, right? So again, you need to find the presence of who are you when you're fully authentic, when you're yourself. And you start practicing it. So when you are committed to this vision that you have in your life, and you being that, like, how do you stand? How do you move? What's open in your body? Where's your breath? Where's your voice? Connect in, and always be connected to what's the commitment to the world. Yeah. What's my purpose? You can name it purpose. What's my vision? If you are able to connect to that, and you're practicing that very often, we need to practice something around 300 times for our body to really feel it and then like have it in our body, and 3,000 to for this to become our second nature. If you practice this in advance, in the moments of stress, of this public speaking, of showing yourself up, even if you have a stress moment and you go back to being small, you know how to use your breath, you know how to use your body, you know how to use your attention, how to use maybe a movement to be visible, to show yourself, and to know I'm safe and I can still connect, even if my idea is something out of a space, or maybe it's just a belief, maybe it's not, right? You're still staying here with them. And you invite them. It's not only like you invite those people now into your place, because you don't close this door of connection. You can connect because you can also see what's going on the other side, what's going on in your street, on from your side. Like, you not being close, you open door for others to enter, and you can bring them here. You can, they will feel it. As a summary, so first thing, you really need to understand what your reactive mode is. How does it feel? What's the movement? What's the emotional field? What's the even type of thoughts you're having? What's your shape under your reactive mode, right? So under stress, how do you show up, right? Then you need to build your centered, regulated state. How are you when you're totally centered, when you can be authentic, fully yourself, connected? So that, and practice this part. And now, when you have that, because this is a place, so remember, this is a place where you can vision, when you can dream, where you can create, when everything is possible, where you connect to others, when you are connected, when you are present, when you are really the most like magnificent you, when you are like drawing people that you want to be with. That's this regulated state. You practice that, this way of being, when you are not under stress. So you practice when you don't need it. So when the moment of stress comes, first you recognize, oh, I'm under stress. I'm again started acting in my old way of, like, I started reacting. But I know I have this capacity now. I build it. Let me go back to the regulated place. And it's clunky at the beginning, and maybe sometimes it doesn't work, or it's hard, or maybe you miss it, like you knew it, you didn't bring it, but next time you will know, okay, I'm under stress, and it worked a bit. And then another time it will work even better. And there will be times that you know the stress is coming and you know how to regulate yourself. So there won't be a time that you never dysregulate or never under stress, because we will always be under stress, we will be always dysregulated. But the key is really how to bounce back and be in this creative state. Be present.